folks, welcome back to a post-game edition, UB Victory edition of Bullet Points presented by Manscaped. We are here with Rob Ryan and Mike Bunt, by from Bunt, after a UB victory 81-74 over a pesky Akron program. Really, Lauren Christian Jackson is who we're going to call that Akron team here. He's a senior that he plays really phenomenal basketball. UB was able to contain him. He puts the ball up a lot, Rob. What do you like first? We got to talk about this victory. What do you like most about the defensive performance? There were lapses of offense throughout the entire night, both games really. But defensively, I thought they played fairly well. 11 for 33 for Lauren Christian Jackson. That's just a phenomenal amount of attempts in a game. Dodging ball wasn't terribly far behind. 17. It's kind of a joke. But what do you think, Rob, about that performance against Lauren Christian Jackson specifically?
Yeah, no, their offense wasn't there the full 40 minutes, but their defense was mostly there for 45 minutes. Their defense was mostly there for most of the game. They kept LCJ off the board when it mattered. He did get his points, but that just happens with him. He's guaranteed his points. But on the offensive end, Mbala was struggling, unlike was yesterday. So it was Janathan taking over, Rondo taking over. Overall, if Mbala and I would say Graves, he didn't have a great game. If they can have two of them not play a great game and still move on a game like this, they're looking good for tomorrow if they can get all four back on pace.
And there's nobody happier in the land than Michael Bunt. Mike, you get what you're looking for here. A run back of the 0-4 tip-in game against Ohio, the MAC semifinals in McCray's senior season, probably the best season under Reggie. But that was not a finals. You're getting a finals, Mike. You're getting someone dancing. Mike, what are your initial feelings after this big victory and big victory for Ohio to lead a really interesting matchup? We joked about it all season that these teams could play in the semifinals, or excuse me, the finals. The problem with that early on, Mike, was it was looking like they were going to play in the first round for the majority of the season in the 4-5 game. So it's a blessing almost that UB did rise to the second seed. So we got to avoid that game in the first round, and a bad Kent team came in and took their place. But what is your opinion right now? How high are you right now with a UB Ohio game, from Cleveland tomorrow?
I'm the happiest person on earth right now. I already have my dancing shoes. I'm guaranteed to have a school in the NCAA tournament right now, which makes me sound pathetic to everybody watching this. But, I grew up a UB fan, and then I went to Ohio. So I have legitimate reasons for liking both schools. I was heartbroken when Ohio beat UB in overtime in the 0-4 MAC championship. This time I'm going to have a different rooting interest. But honestly, whatever happens, may the best team win. That's all I'm going to say regarding that. But I am pumped. UB, they almost blew it today in the final minute with Akron forcing overtime, but they found a way to get it done. They only let Lauren Christian Jackson really exploit him, and even with exploiting him, like you said, 11 for 33, it's not like he really had a great game by that standard. So UB all year long in the beginning, we were wondering, are they ever going to figure it out heading into March? And you know what? They did. Credit to Jim Weitzel. As frustrating as this Bulls team was to watch in November, December, they figured it out in February, and they are one game away, 40 minutes away from going to the NCAA tournament. But to get there, they're going to have to beat an Ohio team that outside of 40 minutes against UB has also won, I believe, 8 of their last 9 games and have been equally hot as the UB Bulls. So this is going to be a fun one tomorrow night.
Yeah, and I am hyped. Shane says big time win. Yeah, I mean it really was. It's a big time win for the program. I was critical of them to not win games that mattered. They'd struggled at it all season. We saw them blow a game against Syracuse that they had in double digits. We really would have liked to see them hold on. It could have mattered here now as we're getting into a little bit of seeding season. Never thought we would be there a couple weeks ago, but they're there now, and they're going to their Ken Palm right around the upper 50s, lower 60s. They're in 12 range right now. For the NCAA tournament in a scary 12 seed this team might sneak into. And another topic of conversation is the NIT. No one wants to talk about it, but they are sneakily right there in the NIT berth. Don't know what's going to happen with Power 5 programs, but it's good that this win tonight may put them in the postseason. They're definitely in the conversation to play in one of the only two now, probably postseason tournaments, Rob. So we're focusing on Ohio. We need redemption from 04. There's no other way around it. UB is the team to beat right now, though. I mean, Ohio really has, it's not like they have nothing to play for, but they can play a little looser. They know UB is the team that's got to defend it strong. But how about that, though? Back to back to back. I like to count last year. I know a lot of people don't. I count it. They did lose that. If they didn't play it, that wouldn't count. I would fully agree with that. They played it and lost Miami of Ohio, but they're good. I mean, they have a chance to go 5 tournaments in 6 seasons, right? I mean, if you don't count last year, right, Rob?
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. I mean, if they win tomorrow, they're the first team in the MAC ever to win 3 in a row, and that would be 5 out of the last 6 if we're not counting last year because no one technically did play on Saturday. But like you said, a 12 seed, 12-5, that's upset city right there. And I don't know who the 5s are right now, but I mean, how we're playing, if we could get all 4 playing with LaQuille added to it, if he's not getting in foul trouble, I mean, that could be a scary team next week in Indy.
Yeah, I mean, and one thing I want to talk to Mike about here, Mike gave us his little excitement. Well, let's talk about this game specifically for just a quick minute, Mike. What did you like from it? I mean, you saw Janathan Williams go 10 for 14 for 26 points, 3 for 4 from 3, 3 for 3 from the free throw line, 5 boards, 4 assists, 4 steals. Had those 4 turnovers, but really did fill up the score sheet. Is he the guy? I know you've been pounding the table for him right now. Is he the guy you're turning to when the game's on the line? The Lauren Christian Jackson, the Marion Jackson. Is he the guy you're turning to as a forward, or are you going somewhere else? How did you think of that performance? Segu was 7 for 14 for 18 points, a real solid game for Ronaldo Segu. And what's your opinion on that? Who's the go-to guy for UB, and what did you think of Janathan?
It's Janathan all day. I've been saying that all season. I think I'm probably the only one that's been saying that all season, and I'm not saying that makes me smarter or not, but I think for whatever reason, we at other points of the year we thought Graves might be that guy. We thought maybe Mbala would get a bigger role in the offense. But you know what? There's only one guy in this team that can really take over a game like that, and it's Janathan. It's because he brings different dimensions. He can attack the hoop. He can get an offensive board and get a putback. He can hit a shot. He has a decent jumper. He can hit it from 3. He's been reliable for the squad all season long, and I love this kid. You know, he came to UB as the highest-ranked recruit this school has ever seen, and after a slow start to his career, his first 2 years, he's really stepped it up and proven to be that 4-star guy this year. We've been waiting for other guys to kind of step up, and it really hasn't happened. Janathan has. So he's definitely, I think, what elevates this team from being a good MAC team to being a great MAC team that could win a game in the NCAA tournament. And Bala is the second guy I would look to as that special type of talent, even though he didn't have a high field goal percentage game today. The fact he can get 20 rebounds on a given night and get his own offense just by getting offensive boards, that's a special talent that no one else on UB really has. So those are the 2 guys I look to every night when UB plays.
Yeah, it's good points, Mike. And there's a lot of good people, joining in the stream. Get to us, get us your comments. What did you think of the game? What are you looking forward to tomorrow? Any questions for Mike, myself, or Rob? Let us know in the comment section. We'd like to hear from you guys, fully. We love the interaction. Let us know what you think. We'll put it right up here and we'll discuss it for a minute. But yeah, Mike, I mean, my wild card of the season, and I've said it from the starters, Ronaldo Segu, 18 points, 4 dimes, played pretty well on the defensive side of the ball, filled up the score sheet a little bit. But that's the kind of performance you need from a true point guard, shooting 50%. That's exactly what you're looking for. That's exactly what I want from my point guard. And I thought he carried the load pretty well late in the game. Javon Graves does what Javon Graves does. 9 rebounds. He does do a lot of things well and carries the ball at the end, for the season that he's had. He does take a lot of the load late in the game and plays defense. So those are some things we need to give Graves credit for late in this game, and in a lot of different facets. We can't just go to score, field goal percentage or other statistical offensive categories that we all like to jump to, mainly myself included. But we have to account for his defense, Rob. We have to account for things that Javon Graves can bring to the floor. The experience. How about the experience? We've seen teams falter, and UB used to be in this category prior to Bobby Hurley. We've seen teams falter. They just didn't have the experience. We saw that UB Ohio game under McCray's senior season. They just didn't have the experience underneath Reggie to ever win those big games. So, Rob, what are you taking away from the experience that Graves brings to the room, and the other facets of the game that he can bring, even when his field goal percentage is down?
Yeah, no, I've been saying it lately. He's the captain. He's the senior. He's been here before. He's won twice. He's the only one besides Rondo and Jonathan. They've been here, but they didn't play. So he's the one that knows how to play in this arena under pressure, and he's got to show to everyone, even if it's not on the scoring end. He, like you said, 9 rebounds. He gets assists. He knows where to be on the court, and he's playing good defense, and that's what leads to the offense. And now we're showing Jonathan and Rondo, they want their turn, as we see this as yesterday and today. 2 years ago, they were on the bench watching it. Now they're the stars and they want to be it. Yeah,
I mean, those are good points. We have a comment here, one I'd love to touch on from Joe. If they win tomorrow, it'll make losing Oates, which was always going to happen at some point. Finish off his comment, a little easier for the next few years, or to take for a few years. I mean, it's a fine point. I'm a huge, anyone that follows me, anyone that talks to me, anyone that I ever talk to UBA to knows I'm a huge Nate Oates fan. What he's brought to the SEC, what he's brought to Alabama, what he's brought to that program, and what he did to help bring UB on the map. Studied under Bobby Hurley. I've met him many times, and the things that he was able to bring to this program, I'll always be appreciative for him and what he brought. But yeah, I mean, it does make it a little bit easier to go back to the tournament and say the team that I left behind was good enough to continue this legacy. And hopefully that, preaches into this experience we all just touched on, Mike. Yeah, I know you're a big recruiter guy. So I know you're big on recruiting. I know you're big on what that means for the program. But getting back to the MAC finals has to mean a lot for any potential recruits they're talking to, as there's not a ton of news right now because of the pandemic. But what is your opinion on what's the legacy left behind by Oates and the potential of Weitzel to be able to land bigger recruits as they continue to make MAC finals?
So the legacy Oates leaves behind is he'll always be known until someone surpasses his accomplishments. He'll be known as the greatest coach in the history of UB basketball. Hurley will be the guy that started that movement. Oates is the guy that took it to the next level. And right now, Weitzel will be the guy, if they can get to the NCAA tournament, the guy that continued it despite the odds being against him. And you have to give Weitzel a ton of credit here for keeping this team focused through a lot of tough times this year when they were struggling, losing games at home, losing against inferior competition. They could have had everything just fall apart, and he kept them together. And me being the recruiting guy that I am, this is huge. If you can find a way to win this game and go back to the NCAA tournament, your message to the recruits is we're still where we were. We can still get you into the NCAA tournament, get you on the big stage, and get a chance to win games against blue blood programs. That is massive. And my biggest worry when UB was struggling was, well, they have these guys that are juniors. They have Graves that's a senior. What if they don't take advantage of this? And then recruits start to drop off. And instead of getting those high 3, low 4-star guys, you have to settle for some 2-star, low 3-star guys. But I think this salvages that. I think this is going to keep UB in the spotlight. And I think Weitzel is going to be able to use this going forward to continue the momentum that they built up when they had Oates and Brian Hodson running the ship here.
Yeah, and we got a good point here. We aren't here tonight if not for Graves in the last game. Good point for his experience. Yeah, I mean, we have to call out his experience. We're easy. I get myself into this groove. Anyone who's in bullet points know I get myself in the groove of I mean, it's not just field goal percentage. That is an important statistic for me. It's that's how you monitor. That's what Oates always monitored, how quick you can get off your shot, how many you make in good shots. That is really important to a fast tempoed offense. And we get caught sometimes in the statistics and numbers, but that experience is huge. What Mike's alluding to there with bringing back recruits and bringing back the possibility of keeping this train rolling. So what's really important here to remember for this entire season is that the players coming back next season. I see some questions on here, who's from UB Bulls 86. Do the seniors return next year? It's a good question. Based on what we know about senior night, the only one who didn't get a jersey was Bruton. So I would point to him returning. He is active, by the way, so we'll see what happens with Keyshawn Bruton. I thought he would bring some depth and experience into this MAC tournament, but they've elected to not play him. They've gone to a short bench. They haven't played any of the deeper bench players so far in this tournament in Skogman. But remember, Mball is back. Janathan Williams is back. Ronaldo Segu is back. Bruton is back. They have Williamson coming in, a really highly regarded forward. There's a lot to like about this team next year, especially some of the big players leave. So, Rob, are you just as excited in the future, especially next year? We're not going to get too far ahead with these players returning and what they're able to accomplish here, especially if they're able to go get another championship. If they do, recruiting's got to go through the roof. It's got to go through the roof if they're able to win tomorrow. It is a huge game, not just to play in the tournament. We all want that. We all want to see their name on brackets that we're picking, and the degenerate danger zone is going to get into statistics, and they're going to get into dart throws and everything else that we do here at Trainwreck Sports. But that is going to be huge for recruiting, right, Rob?
Oh, it's got to be. I mean, next year we still have 3 out of the big 4. We still got Janathan, we still got Mbalo, we still got Rondo, we still got LaQuill, and we got the bench players. Skogman's going to be big. So recruits going to see this. They still have some momentum going into next year. We already have that one big recruit, the Zion Williamson 2.0. I think his real name's Zakir Williamson. But he looks like he's going to be good. I think he was a high 3-star.
Yep, high 3.
That's just another forward. Maybe Malik Zachary's back next year. But we definitely need some guard recruits, and hopefully after the season, White Sox can go out and get some nice guards that actually stay on the team and don't get arrested.
And good point here. We're going to bring this one to Mike. Mike, what do you think of this comment? Being a ref is a lot like being a weatherman. You can be wrong 90% of the time and still have a job. I thought they did a horrible job officiating this game. They made some awful calls. There was a complete out of bounds that changed the game-ish. Late in the game that led to a Lauren Christian Jackson 2-pointer, an awful charge call late in the game. I don't remember if that was right at the end of regulation or the start overtime, but it was an awful call on another 6 charges against UB today. I think 1 offensive foul on Akron. That's uneven. I don't like it as much as Lauren Christian Jackson chicken wings. I didn't like it. I thought that was pretty egregiously bad officiating. UB's got to make their free throws, but Mike, what do you think? Do you think officiating is going to play a role in this MAC finals tomorrow?
I don't think it will.
Okay.
I know you guys don't agree with me.
I don't know.
It's a UB fan thing to always say those Ohio refs.
Ohio Conference.
Always
like,
going
come on.
in favor of those Ohio schools.
They need an Ohio school to win.
They want an Ohio school to win. They haven't had one in a while.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. I just think MAC refs just suck sometimes.
Okay, that's fine.
Like, you know what? Like, Big Ten fans right now, you know who they hate? Bo Borowski. You know what? 10 years ago, I was yelling at Bo Borowski at the Convocation Center for 4 consecutive years because I hated him then. It's just being a ref is a tough gig. But you know what? I don't totally agree with the comparison to the weatherman, just because, like, having been on TV, I know how sensitive meteorologists are and how difficult their jobs are. You complain about them, they get salty and they cry about it. So I want to be nice about the meteorologists. If you screw up as a ref, and you shouldn't have a job. I mean, like, because you're officiating a game, you need your eyes to get the calls.
You ever get Mr. Clean? We used to chant Mr. Clean at this guy in my days. He looked just like Mr. Clean. Does anyone remember Mr. Clean, the official?
I don't remember him. Borowski.
Rogaine? Rogaine.
Bo Borowski was the guy I targeted all the time.
Okay.
I don't even know if he was a bad official.
I
I
forget.
just assumed he was an awful official. But I don't think Cleveland's gonna. I don't think the refs are gonna have a bias or anything tomorrow. I think
Shane's got to remember one of them. Shane, which one do you remember? Do you remember Rogaine? Do you remember Mr. Clean? Gene Steratore. How about that? A name from the NFL.
Mac, right?
Yeah, he does Mac officially. I'm not sure anymore. I
he might be retired now, but he was good. He's a good official. He did a lot of. I think he did Big Ten also.
Yeah, he did. He was right in front of me many times, so it was cool to get in front of Gene Steratore. He was a pretty big NFL figurehead. I don't know why he's taking Mac dollars to officiate.
It was like
he's got to be bored, right? You're not making the money.
No, now he's only the head official for CBS, I think.
Okay, good for him. But yeah, no, I mean, we've had some fun with these officials in the past, but we do have a lot of roaring questions. We'll try to get to them all before we wrap up the show. But any freshmen coming in, yeah, we have Williamson coming in, like we mentioned, a big 3-star recruit coming in. That's going to be another dominant post player to kind of replace, if you want to say replace Brock and or Fagan in there. So that's going to be a nice piece to add to the puzzle. A lot of people got a lot of talk about Skogman. Yeah, I mean, Skogman, it's not playing right now. I'd love the development from Skogman. Like to see him get some minutes, especially. So we had some forward problems today, guys. That foul trouble's got to clean up. Harden's played really well in stretches, but we need him to clean up his fouls. I think he's got 9 fouls in the last 4.5 fouls in the MAC tournament. Rob, are you worried about forward fouls? Because at some point, we're gonna have Brock in big minutes. We're gonna have to go to Skogman, who hasn't had logged a minute in the MAC tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Mbala, he's been able to keep it down, but I'm definitely worried about LaQuill. He definitely can get into foul trouble a lot. He's not that well at staying away from the fouls. But Mbala, today, he got the 4th, I believe, with like 5 minutes left in the second half, and he played 10 more minutes with 4 fouls, playing aggressive still. So I'm not really worried about him, but definitely LaQuill has to keep it up. Brock, he puts some good minutes in, but he definitely can't play a long time. So definitely got to watch Hardnett tomorrow with the fouls.
Yeah, Skogman, king of fouls per minute, that is an issue right now. Defensively, he brings a lot to the table on the offensive side of the ball, but we need to clean up the fouls. That was kind of Hardnett maybe a little bit early in his freshman year last year, and in some things he was getting in foul trouble like that. And Mbala, remember Mbala last season, the reason we played him off the bench was some of those foul issues and played Brock a lot. We have to clean up the forward fouls because we're starting to get in the range of what we saw tonight. Thought Hardnett and Graves terrible today. Yeah, I mean, you could interpret that. I mean, I'm going to be the most realistic UB guy here. No offense, Rob. No offense, Mike. But I will kind of tell it like it is. Those guys bring me back up to earth though with their good play. So we kind of round each other out. So that's always really really good. That's why teams work. But yeah, I mean, you could interpret that that way if you please. Real quickly, Mike, thoughts on tomorrow's game? Now we talked about it to start the show. No one more conflicted than you, I guess. What are your unbiased opinions on these teams? Not Mike, your past, not 2018, not 2019, not 2012, not 2004. What are your opinions on the game tomorrow, and what are you looking for here?
So I've been way off on both predictions involving these two teams this year. The first time I picked UB, Ohio won by 1. Last game I picked Ohio, UB destroyed them. I really don't know what to expect because I've been telling people all season and for a couple years that I think that UB is the top high-end talent in the MAC. Like a guy like Janathan and Mbala, Rondo, and Graves, when they're playing at their peak, I don't think there's anybody else in the MAC that matches UB talent-wise. I guess the difference is I don't know what to expect from UB on a game-to-game basis. I don't know if I'm going to see good UB, bad UB. Right now, they're on fire, so it's kind of hard to pick against this Bull squad. In past history with the game just a couple Saturdays ago would say that UB definitely should be favored. The only thing I don't know about that contest, and I don't want to make any excuses for Ohio, but they were.
Oh, here comes an excuse.
they were dealing with a COVID situation, and that was their third game of the week. I know UB was dealing with a break, and they played the same amount of games in the same amount of days. I don't know if that had anything to do with Ohio getting spanked. That was every team has a few outlier performances, and that was one of Ohio's worst performances of the season. I
Yep.
think watching guys like Jason Preston, Vanderplas, Dwight Wilson, and the rest of this Bobcat squad, I hadn't seen them play a game that bad the entire season before that. My gut is going to say that I think UB is going to be victorious tomorrow night. But like I told you guys, my gut is not something to follow or go to Vegas with.
How
So,
about justice for Yasanid Behe? What's your opinion on that?
what was that?
How about justice for Yasanid Behe?
The Behe you were talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't. James is.
Oh, it was making me flashback to the days when he was on UB. It would be nice to get some justice. Like I told you guys, I was a UB fan back then, so that heartbroke me. Like everybody talks about how the Bills had wide right and the Sabres had no goal. As a kid, that was my no goal and my wide right.
For UB fans, it is.
That
Sure.
destroyed me. That had a mental impact on me as a kid. So, I'm just going to go with whoever rolls tomorrow. Obviously, like I told you guys, I'm an Ohio alum, so I'm going to go with them first and foremost. But I really do feel good about this UB team. And if they can get this victory and slide in as a 12, wouldn't that be some poetic justice to end up getting in and maybe even having a chance to win a tournament game after me being a negative Nancy for the last year? That'd be that would definitely be pretty awesome for this squad.
Yeah, and I mean, a good point by Shane again mentioned it was a trap game today. It could have been. I mean, Lauren Christian Jackson's that good. I mean, he can take over a game. He can win it on his own. He got some play from Freeman, his walk on. That's what they needed in the stretch. Freeman 14 boards, some huge rebounds. Yeah, and then to this point right here, kind of wrap up both Akron and Ohio all at once. Up 19 with 10 minutes left. Today's tip in by Akron gave me PTSD for sure. To kind of wrap the Ohio game into the way that score went in with 1.1 seconds. It's similar. I mean, it's kind of similar.
ESPN's going to talk? Do you think they're going to mention that game? They'll probably show that highlight at least once.
Definitely.
I don't want to see it.
I'm not giving them credit. I'm not giving them credit to know that history. I'm not. I don't know. Do you give them credit to know to go back that far?
Obvious. There has to be somebody in the MAC that's going to tell them.
17 years ago, you were giving ESPN mid-major credit. I mean, I don't know. I'm 50-50 whether they do.
Yeah, I'm just happy that this is a game that's a rematch 17 years later when UB has won the tournament for the last 5 years. It's not a game when UB is playing Ohio and they hadn't gone to the NCAA tournament before, because that would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's kind of like whatever. It's part of the past. I guess some retribution, but UB's already far past that, in my opinion.
We do this for football, by the way. Watch out for it this fall. Have more interactive live shows like we do here. So we'll get going on that for this football season, as we'll see UB finished ranked in football. So we'll bring it back for that. The ghost of the Mighty Maniac. Yep, I have the shirt. I'll bring the shirt out, by the way, maybe one of these days. It could be tomorrow. If UB wins tomorrow, I will bring out the Mighty Maniac shirt that I still have from 2006. So I was just a senior for the tip-in game. I almost made it. My close friend Jessif could be watching this. He was at that game, I believe, in the tip-in game. That kind of haunted him forever. Huh?
A nice True Blue founder.
That close friend of mine. Absolutely. He is the True Blue founder with Paul. So it all comes together there.
If that happens tomorrow, just ban me from bullet points for a month.
What? If what happens? A tip-in?
If something like that happens tomorrow,
you're just getting kicked out of the group and blocked from this live stream. Like it's just that simple. Good comment by Jacob, though. We got one for you. Where's your green, Mike?
I know Jake. Actually, fun. This is cool. So Jake Corrigan and me, we announced Joe Burrow's games as a sophomore quarterback in high school at Athens High School.
Okay, Mac.
So,
The glory days for Mike there.
no, it's cool.
UB Bama. Unfortunately, we won't see UB Bama because
You
Bama
will
is
not
Bama. How high are they going to be? A 2?
They're gonna
Two,
be a 2.
guaranteed two, maybe a one.
Guaranteed 2, right? Guaranteed locked 2.
It's
UB's not
already
going to be a
locked.
15, so we're not going to see that though. No, because we're not even going to be on their side in a 7-10 game either. We won't get to the 10. So unfortunately, not looking likely for a repeat there at any time. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be able to do that for us. Though they would if for some reason Alabama was in that 5 range. For sure, they would bring that to the table. I think many people have
That'd be a
stated.
slaughter. Let's avoid that as long as we can.
Let's not do that. This isn't UB
This isn't Hurley's team
ASU.
that we were better at.
Yeah. No shot at no shot whereby Bama. Yeah, no, absolutely not. That team's ridiculous. And it's mini Bama versus Bama. I mean, really, it's the creator of our offense versus that verse. Yeah.
It's crazy that both teams might win it this year.
They're in the I mean, we've seen how good Oates' offenses are. I mean, they're in the running to win the entire tournament. I mean, they really are.
They have before.
Yep. Jacob says, go Bulldogs, by the way, Mike. So there you go.
Yeah.
Go Bulldogs. Whatever. Is that their team? Whatever that means.
Athens High School, Joe Burrow.
Okay. Go Burrow's high school team. That's what we're here. We're here to bring you that content. Joe Burrow's high school team. Feel like we could make a run this year. Yeah, I mean, it depends who they play. A lot of times 5s are vulnerable. They finished the season poorly. That's why that 12-5 seed is very upsettable. Haven't been doing this a lot lately. But what I'm going to do live for everybody here is pull up bracketology to see with Toledo out, where that would put us.
Who's this from?
This is from D ratings I like to use because I use a statistical model to get to here for us. Where do they have? So they're going to have us as the top 13 seed this minute, though I do believe if UB does win and with the win over Ohio, which is a pretty good win, that they would boost into the 12 spot. Right now in the 12 seeds, you have somehow they have the playing games, Mississippi and Syracuse. And then they have Winthrop and WKU taking down the final 12 seeds right now, with UB being the next team to be in that matchup. So if you're rooting for this stuff, root against, I don't know, is WKU still playing? I believe they're playing tomorrow.
North Texas tomorrow.
Okay, so go North Texas. Yeah, go North Texas for sure. What's Winthrop doing? Are they already in?
They're already in. Yeah.
Okay, bummer. I do believe that Bulls victory would put them over Winthrop. We'll see what happens. But if you want rooting interest, root against WKU tomorrow. I mean, it's straight up.
Syracuse is a 12. Think about
I don't understand right now how that's working.
Think about Cuse versus UB on a neutral court after what happened the first game. I'd pick UB all day in that matchup right now.
They're up double digits, and that was when they weren't even roaring. I think, didn't Bala play in that? He might have. I don't even remember against Cuse.
Yeah, that was he put up.
Yeah, he did. Yep. How many UB recruits are on Bama? Just Rojas.
Well, they had 2 and 1 left.
Yeah, they had our guy,
Hawkins.
Yeah, Hawkins, who everyone had high hopes for and should have gone to UB anyways. Now I think he's in Long Beach State. So he's gone. But I remember that final senior night game when he was there, Hawkins and Noah Williams, who's on Washington State. Washington State threw up 40 points and he's squandering away in a bad Power 5 team. Too bad. But he's a baller. Wish he could be here. Nope, 3 but 1 left. Yeah, 3. I got 2. A couple left. Drury Caldwell who's playing really well. He left during that leave. Noah Williams is another. Quinterly, was he supposed to come? No JUCO player. Someone asked that earlier. No JUCO players that are supposed to come to UB at this stage. Blocker from Rochester actually is a pretty highly touted guy. Was that Rob?
Sorry, keep going.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say Blocker's the only JUCO player I know of right now.
So the most recent bracket on CBS, it was Toledo in the 13, and in the 4 is one of the 4 teams is Virginia. So if we match up with Virginia and they can't make it, we possibly may be the better team in that game.
Interesting, something to keep an eye out for there with this interesting stuff. that's going on. So yeah, I mean Toledo and UB actually just jumped them in Ken Palm Toledo, so we'll see if that boosts them enough to be in the 12 spot. I think it ranges on that North Texas game. It's stupid. I really do think it does. Do they have, does that bracket have WKU as a 12?
And then North Texas, they have there's two UB recruits on that team also.
Who did they take? Did they take
They took
Hamlet? I think wasn't there a Javion Hamlet or
yeah,
something?
he's good.
Javion Hamlet and James Reese.
Oh, they got Reese. That's right. Reese is good. Reese is good.
It's crazy to think about all the guys that have left the program that are playing at a high level elsewhere.
Yeah, Reese was good.
WKU, right?
Yeah. Who's got who? Where do they have the Conference USA team?
They have them at the 12 against Tennessee.
There you go. Okay. So that's kind of where you're looking tomorrow. So things to watch out for, not UB related. So that's interesting. We haven't been able to talk about that much as we're just trying to get by. We're just trying to survive. Survive and advance is the name of the game right now. But let's see what else. Reese and Hamlet. Yeah, no, I mean, two really good players. I mean,
we never got to saw Hamlet here.
Yeah, we know how good Oates and Hodgson were at recruiting. Yeah, no, I mean, we're going to, hopefully we take a W tomorrow and we'll be back live on the show to bring you some great content. And we'll do more of this. We'll do more of the seeding talk if they do happen to take a victory tomorrow. We'll have stuff to watch out for. It'll kind of be full circle. I don't know if the win is enough to make to put UB into the NIT. No one wants to talk about that, but it's still a fun tournament with really good teams. Right now, they're the final team in on the NIT bracket after tonight. According to dratings.com, the final team into the NIT bracket after this Akron W. So take it for what it's worth. If you want postseason basketball, maybe get it even with a loss, but we're all rooting for a W. Rob, wrap up tonight for us, and then I'll get to Mike. Wrap up tonight. Wrap up your feelings. How you feeling? Nervous? You think they're the favorite after the absolute pounding against Ohio the first time? They're going to have something to prove. 10 out of 11. Really almost won 11 in a row if it wasn't for a bad 5 minutes to end the game against Toledo. So how you feeling? Give us your unbiased opinion as we go into tomorrow.
Yeah, no, we've been saying for a while that they're the hottest team coming in. Now they're winners of 7 straight. Like you said, 10 out of the last 11. Ohio, even they've looked good the last 2 nights, but they've been on COVID breaks multiple times this year.
Yep.
Last time we played them, it was a pretty good showing for us. Like you said, I think we'll be the favorites maybe by like a 3 or 4 pointer like we were tonight. But tonight was capped off by Segu and Jonathan, the 2 4-stars. They should be the top. Hopefully Mbala's back to his old stuff tomorrow, and I think tomorrow could be a very good game. Javon's been here before, and Jonathan Rondo's been nice, and Mbala's there for the ride. So I think we have a good shot tomorrow, and just got to get through one more game.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. Thanks for the comment in chat, and we like the interaction. It keeps the show going a little bit longer than we normally do for our pregame shows, as we're just trying to get to tip. But we like the interaction to make sure you guys are coming back, asking questions. Thank you. We appreciate that a lot, Shane, for the kind words. Thank you too, UB Bull 86. We appreciate that as well. And yeah, I mean, back to your original comment, UB will be favorites, as Rob said, probably by a few points. And they got to take precedent in the fact how many UBs won in a row, 10 out of 11, pounding Ohio at Ohio late in the season by 20, really shutting out Preston. Mike mentioned that some of those COVID-related things, UB had breaks too. But Preston shot 4 for 10 for 10 points the last time they played. McDay 3 for 9. Dwight Wilson 4 for 9. Vanderplas an 0 for 6. Those are numbers that Ohio cannot even come close to tomorrow if they think that they're going to become victorious against UB. Right, Mike? Like that's pretty poor.
So what's interesting to me, just looking at the numbers from Ohio's game today, is all season I've been telling you guys they're not a 2-man team, that they're a lot deeper.
Yep.
And then they go up against Toledo, and Preston goes for 27, and Vanderplas goes for 26.
Yep.
That sounds to me like it's tournament time, and they've decided, you know what, we're going to go through our 2 best players, and we're going to let them win it for us, or we're going to fall with them getting the opportunity. And Preston, you mentioned 4 of 10 against UB the last time. Well, today, 11 of
I don't want
19
to hear it.
against Toledo, 27 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. Jason Preston earlier this year against Illinois, also known as a team that's going to be a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament this year.
And
At
a
31
loss.
points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. Ohio had a lead with under 5 seconds left to play against the then, I think, 7th-ranked team in the country.
Okay, fair stats. Thanks, Mike. No, I appreciate that.
It ultimately comes down, I think, to this. Do you get good Janathan tomorrow? And do you hold Jason Preston / Ben Vanderplas in check? If you get bad Janathan, where he's 3 of 12, 3 of 14 or something like that, and then Preston's going off for 23 and 10 assists, well, Ohio will win.
Yep.
If you get good Janathan and Mbala getting 12, 13 rebounds, well, then UB will win. Both of these teams are capable of beating the other. It just depends on who's on. And I don't even want to mention matchups or different things like that, because sometimes it's as simple as whose star players play like stars on the big stage. And I have a gut that it's going to be UB. I just have a gut feeling it's going to be UB.
Okay.
I think
the experience or why? Because this is the first time Ohio's played in Cleveland in 12 since what year?
Ohio, they haven't gotten to the semi since I think 17.
Wow. Okay.
So it's been a while. They had a couple bad years with Saul Phillips. I think if I have to say one X factor, it's going to be Jason Preston. He's the best player on the court tomorrow.
Probably. That's fair.
If he balls, they're going to be tough. But I just have a feeling that UB is going to have a little bit of an answer for him. They
did the last time they played, and UB guarded the 3-point line pretty good today. Beside a few stretches of made threes by backup forward and guards that they had hitting threes, they played Christian Jackson really well today. And I mean, they're going to be the same. They're going to do the same to Preston like they did last time they played. The goal is to limit Preston. Yes, he's going to get his, but still, what is his? Is his 40? Is his 30? Is his 20?
Last thing I want to say, because Preston's he's different. He's not like I
agree.
He's not a Jackson. He's not a Lauren. Like he has a different style. He puts up floaters. He cuts to the hoop. He scores in the paint. He's not your traditional guy that's just gonna attack and then settle for jumpers. He plays so much different than most guys at this level. Ultimately, the reason why I bring Vanderplas in this too is Ohio. If Preston is off, they'll lean on Vanderplas.
Vanderflop, you mean?
Yeah, I actually saw him take a charge today. So
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
I mean,
you have their coach over there going like this. I mean, he's making the charge sign every time. Like, dude, he's diving from the box over there.
I jumped up and I was screaming. I did the whole hand motion, everything. You guys should have seen it. But if UB can stop those two, they'll win tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a good point. And UB takes a lot of charges, even with teams that don't flop. I mean, they just do. I don't know what the deal is. They play very fast and quick and aggressive. And it is an advantage Ohio in that category. Our own Ty B, he's probably dipped on us now, but he says they've always had the talent, just needs to listen to coaching and play defense. Yeah, no, I mean, defense is what got them to where they definitely are right this moment. They've been playing good defense, especially guarding the 3-point line. And I have to say, as we look forward to tomorrow, we'll bring you a pregame show. Ohio has only lost once since January, by the way, and that's to UB. They have a ton of cancellations.
We also haven't lost. We've only lost once since January also.
Is that when our Toledo loss?
Yeah, our 10 out of 11 started, I think, the first week in February.
Okay. So they're really hot too, minus a bunch of cancellations and a stomping by UB. I mean, Ohio hasn't really lost much either. I mean, and that's really once in which they can.
This is what the fans want. This is what the fans deserve. This
2 versus 5 too.
Yeah, this is perfect. You couldn't have written it up any better.
And I've said the most pro offense and the most struggling to UB has is going to be to Toledo. And it's going to be because they share the ball, and it's going to be to Bowling Green. Don't think they match up particularly well against Bowling Green. I thought that would have been a hard matchup for them tonight. They get Ohio. I mean, a team they played really well. Gotta say the one advantage UB for sure is rebounding. Ohio is still 247th in the nation with 34 rebounds. You gotta rebound the ball really well tomorrow. That is a huge nugget to remember. We've taken up 45 minutes of everyone's time today. We appreciate everyone coming out. I know Mike's jonesing to get his dinner. I know Rob's got stuff to do, but we're going to bring it back tomorrow for sure. We'll be on for the pregame show for Tip there. Don't have to wait for another game tomorrow, so the game isn't in flux. Is there official time on the Tip?
7:30, I believe.
ESPN 1 or 2?
ESPN 2.
We put it on 2. Okay, ESPN 2.
Usually on 2, so I'm assuming it stayed on 2.
Okay, I would think soon. So ESPN 2 for anyone here that doesn't have streaming services, so it'll be on your TV on ESPN 2 tomorrow. So get out there, please support the team. They need all the fans at home that we can get. Tweet about it. We'll be on live probably 7:15 ish to talk about that game, and we'll be back hopefully with good news around 9:30, 9:45. Bad news for Mike, good news for the blue
Good
color.
news.
Bad news for the green color. So that's those
I'm
are
happy either way, guys. You have to realize that.
I mean, come on. What's Ohio? Are they going to even get a 13? They're going to be a 14.
13.
I don't think
it's going
so.
to be the win
Mike.
over UB that propels them to the 13.
The only team I hate more than Ohio. Does anyone know the team I hate more than Ohio? Anybody?
You hate Bonaventure.
That is right. Good job, Mike. The only team I hate more than Ohio is Bonaventure. They suck. I hate that school.
Those are the worst. Guys.
I'm ready for Sunday. The Bonnies too. VCU A10 championship.
They're gonna get dipped.
It's March. It's celebration time.
Go VCU.
I'm like Bill Laftree. I'm
Go
going
VCU.
either way.
What are they going to be if they lose on 11?
Who? Bono?
Bonnies. Yeah.
I think Bono should be a 10 either way.
With a loss?
Right now they're as a 9. So
Okay.
their net is like 30.
Whatever.
But I don't want to bore people with Bonnie's talk because Bonnie
we're
fans hate
done.
me.
No Bonnie talk.
No
Can't
Bonnie
stand
talk.
Bonnies. Their fans are brutal. They've said some brutal, or more than Ohio, more than any team ever. They've said
They
say
hate
some
me.
brutal-
They remember when I
You
had
like
that
them
talk?
though.
They hate me.
Why? They should hate other
Because I whenever I'm critical of local teams, people
Okay. And
like to call me out.
okay, that's fine. Ohio's an 83 Ken Pom, by the way. The last time someone made it as close to an 83, that's about a 14 seed. So, Mike, you're flirting with a 14 right now with a victory. They should get a boost if they do happen to pull off a victory.
I'm not going to worry about it.
Okay, you don't worry about it. I'm going to worry about winning and being the 12 seed then, which is big news. Go North Texas. Go UB. Rob, leave us with some final notes. Anything?
Just it's crazy to think a couple months ago we didn't think this was going to be a chance. We didn't even think we'd make it to the semis, and now we're on to the finals, looking for the third straight, looking to make the tournament for the 5th time in the last 6 years or 7 years. But it's a great time to be a Bull. The women lost, but men took over, and men going for the three-peat tomorrow.
Yep. Graduated UB in 78. Go UB. Thanks for tuning in. I mean, you've rooted for them longer than us, maybe combined. So really,
I was still 21 years before I was even born.
I was 10 years before I was born. So no, I mean, you rack up the years. So appreciate that you've been able to enjoy some success for UB. I mean, really, we had some bad years prior to 04, like some bad years, and some bad years following. So in my day, when I was in college, we were awful. We had just got through the glory time and we were terrible. I mean, there were some bad times. There were some bad teams in there. It was difficult to watch, but we turned the corner. We poured some money into the program. It's been turned around. UB's going to go 5 tournaments. 5. There are 5 on the line here. Take down the Ohio Conference. Prove you should be Power 5. Division 3 in 70. Yeah, no, I mean, when was Division 1? 99? 99.
No, Division 1 was early 90s.
Was it? For both?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were in what now is the Summit League. It was the
Max.
Yeah.
Okay. The Max 99, right. Okay. That makes sense. So yeah, no, I mean, basketball had those sanctions. We've been a long way. We made it a long way. I mean, those sanctions.
We're on sanctions right now.
What's that?
We're on a sanction right now.
Small one.
Small one, recruiting, but like.
No, we're just under watch. Like we have to report all. That's right. That's a good point. We have to report all of our recruiting activity to the NCAA, but no losses, scholarships, no issues. We fired the problem that happened.
We we all know. We all know.
We know too much. But yeah. So yeah. I mean, we know what happened there. You're right. They are under a slight sanction. They can't really mess up right now. Because then scholarships start to come off the books. 4 scholarships to add to this program. We will see. This victory is huge. Want to see him in the tournament, but I cannot stress how big the game is tomorrow to continue the growth, to continue the development, to continue to score 3 stars, to continue to keep players staying and not going to Power 5. We need Nathan Williams to stay. We need Ronaldo Segu to stay. We can't have senior transfers. I'm not going to say this game's the reason, but we need Cleveland's the reason. But I am going to say that this is huge for the morale of the program. Win tomorrow, you dominate the MAC. There's no more questions. 3 coaches, you dominate the MAC. You're still recruiting good enough. You're beating the best of Ohio. Ohio's has developed and is a good program there right now. You're beating Akron. You're beating the best of the teams. Like it is what it is. Miami can't even get to the semifinals since Charlie Coles. It's just kind of you're beating the best of the Toledo and Bowling Green are like seriously. Like the 1 year Toledo was good. They got beat. They got beat by UB's good team. Like we had no reason to win some of those times. Like we could have had 2 teams in the tournament from the MAC. We just kept winning. And they're just cursed. Like there's no way that Bowling Green and Toledo can't make that.
They had 2 of the longest NCAA tournament droughts in the country. I saw a graphic today that said Toledo hasn't made a tournament, I think, in like 41 years, and for Bowling Green, it's like 51 years.
Yeah, is it ever in the MAC? No, right, obviously not.
It was like 60s. Last time they won.
Wow.
Like Toledo and BG are the equivalent of Ohio football, where they haven't won a MAC championship, I think, since 1968. So, I mean, you got to be like all types of bad luck to go that long and not win one tournament.
And the non-Ohio teams are struggling too. Beside Western's little stretch they had at like early, like 2010, 12, I can't remember the year, 13 or 14. They've struggled in stretches. Kent does their little thing where they're good every 7 years, 8 years. But I mean, other than that, I mean, it's the Mid-American Buffalo Conference right now. The Buffalo American Conference. What do you like the best? The back? What do you like?
Just move up to the American Conference, win this, get the invite, then okay. Ohio can go back to ruling the MAC, and UB can go up against Houston and Temple and all them. That's what I want. Just get the invite, move up. I don't want Ohio and UB playing each other anymore.
That'd be good for you, Mike. You'll never have to worry about the back. Yeah, I like the back. I think that works. But yeah, I mean, it's a UB conference. Took it another 5 minutes. Didn't want to take it there. We'll be back tomorrow, though. We will be here tomorrow, like I said, right around. We'll work inner workings of bullet points. We'll probably be on here right around 7:10, 7:15, taking your questions, doing a pregame, and we'll be back. But from bullet points, we have Rob Ryan, we have Mike, the dual citizen.
May the best team win.
Okay, that's how we'll leave it. May the best team win tomorrow. But from bullet points, good night now.